So my name is Mya Frank, Mya Rose, go by all of those. And my mental health journey is quite a long one. Well, started out with both parents. They split up pretty early on in my life, so I was raised by a single mom. My dad, he would kind of show up here and there, kind of whenever it was convenient for him. So he wasn't around too much. Father figures in my life were more my uncle, my grandpa. And all of this really didn't come out until later. I always had feelings about all of it, but I never really understood them. Also, in about 3rd grade, I had separation anxiety, and I eventually went to therapy for that. That was the first time I had ever went to therapy. And it helped. I was okay for quite some time. It wasn't until about middle school where this journey really started for me. I can't remember anything specific that happened that triggered the series of events. It just kind of was an overwhelming feeling of sadness that just came over me. So my story has impacted who I am today because it's just kind of made me so much more aware of my feelings and the things that I do and how it can affect other people. It kind of helped me to mature pretty early on just because I really needed that for myself, to be able to understand my feelings and understand how that affects other areas of my life. I learned to look at the bigger picture, and there's still challenges with all of this that I go through daily, but overall I think that I'm in a very different place than I began. It's just helped me to be a more caring, sympathetic person in a lot of ways, and it's helped me to want to help people. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is I want to use my experiences to do what I can to help other people. So my mental health journey, like I mentioned before, I've done a lot of therapy. I've had quite a few different therapists in my life. They all said pretty similar things. Basically, I ended up being diagnosed with depression, anxiety, at some point a little bit of anger. I find the joy in the small things. I just take a little bit of extra time taking care of myself. Or when I'm driving, I'll just make sure to enjoy the trees or the sun. It's just, you have to pay attention to those small things. So that's kind of what I've been doing to help myself recently. So some encouragement I would give to somebody in a similar situation: just keep pushing through, because you're gonna make it. I mean, it might not seem possible in the moment, and that's how it might feel for quite some time, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You just gotta find the good in where you're at right now. That's the most important, taking care of yourself and finding the good in what you have rather than focusing on the negative. Because I know that's something I used to do a lot and still struggle with sometimes, is focusing too much on the negative. So just finding those happy moments in your life, or having a safe space for yourself, I feel is really important.